Hello, my name is XONEVANT. Today is Saturday, September the 6th, and this is your Daily Dose. Alright guys, so we got another fan question in from GC12038. He's been a subscriber to the channel for a very long time, so thanks for the support. And on yesterday's video, he was talking about the idea of multiplayer games and how he feels like they've kind of, taken over. In other words, every time you see a game drop now, a single player game, it always has to have some type of multiplayer component in it. And that was kind of one of his issues. And he also talked a little bit about, when we were kids, it was all about the single player experience. I mean, you couldn't even play, there was no multiplayer at all. And I guess if you had to say that there was a multiplayer, it was co-op. But then your friends had to come to your house, you know what I mean, to be able to play a co-op type game with you. But it was all about the single player, and now we've kind of transitioned into a multiplayer experience. And he goes on to say things like, even with Destiny coming out, right, which is, it's a single player experience if you want it to be, I guess. But even they've come out and said, look, you're not going to be able to really get through this game solo, especially certain portions. You're gonna, in fact, I think there's certain portions of Destiny that are going to be required for you to play with somebody else. And so he gets into things like, what if you have that player out there who just doesn't have a lot of friends online, or who has a crazy schedule and he can't organize time to play with other friends, and that's going to actually kick him out of some of the experience of that game just because they've made the game to cater to a group activity, right, instead of just a solo type campaign. And he also talks a little bit about, games being a relaxation type experience, a place for you to just chill. And he talks about how multiplayer games seem to be all about competitive, that competitive type atmosphere. And that's not really that relaxing for some players. And he's just basically getting into the generalization that things have changed. And he's wondering what the future holds, maybe no more campaign games at all. So let's pick it up right there. I think that multiplayer is on the rise, and I'm gonna get into co-op here in just a second. I think that multiplayer is on the rise because it's a great way to make money, man. There's no better motivator than for your friend to have a game, and the only way that you can really hang out with your friend and play that game at the same time is to be in that competitive multiplayer atmosphere. I mean, even if you don't even, look, I've heard of gamers who don't even really like the game that they're buying. They're simply buying it so they can hang out with their friends online. And so there is that money making aspect to it. If you make a single player game and it's not great, then that's not going to be enough pull for somebody to go out and buy the game. Even if all their friends have the game, right? If they think it's a garbage game, they're not going to buy it. But with multiplayer, it's a little bit different because, like I said, you want to fit in with the group. You don't want to be the odd man out. And so you feel the need to go out and buy the game. And I think that's why these multiplayer games do such a good job. I mean, when you even look on YouTube, half the people who cover these multiplayer games, they'll make a video one day and then the very next day claim that they can't stand the game. Then they'll go back and make it again. You know what I mean? It's not just money making for the developers and the publishers, but people here on YouTube who make full-time careers out of YouTube, it's a money making venture for them too. And then when you move into games like, Destiny and Minecraft and, what I would consider more co-op type experience. I know Minecraft can be played solo, but I know a lot of people on YouTube will get their friends together and they'll put videos up where there's like, 5 or 6 commentators in the same video. They're money makers, man. We as people love to be social. Now, some of us don't, right? But for the most part, we're social creatures by nature. And so at the end of the day, the games are almost just catalyst to make that happen. Now, to get to your question here, what does the future hold? I think the future is going to continue to bring us a little bit of everything. I think there's still going to be single player. I don't think single player games are going away. I don't think that multiplayer is going anywhere, and personally, I think that co-op games are going to be on the rise. I mean, when you look at what's coming out, Destiny is a co-op, type game. We've got Assassin's Creed that used to be multiplayer based that this time around said, you know what, we're not doing multiplayer, we're doing a co-op experience. I think that the co-op feel is coming back. I mean, Borderlands has got that co-op feel. I just think that's where we're heading in this generation. Now, that's just my opinion. But I think that the competitive multiplayer side of things is, and like you said in your statement there, where people get schooled, you know what I mean? People are, it's like a competitive battle every time you get online. It's not relaxing. I think that kind of atmosphere is going away. I think the Minecrafts and the Destinies and the you know, the Assassin's Creed Unities. I think that type of experience is where we're heading for this generation. And to be honest with you, I would prefer a co-op experience over a like PvP multiplayer type experience any day of the week, because for the simple fact that usually when people like this, you know, when they get into this competitive spirit, they want to own you, you know what I mean? They want to call you names and like teabag you and stuff. And look, that's cool. I'm a competitive guy, but we all know that multiplayer in and of itself is jacked up because internet connections, nobody's running really at the same speed. You know what I mean? The server's either all jacked up or it's, you know, a peer-to-peer type server. So even if somebody shoots you down and like teabags your body, it's not because they're necessarily a good player. It doesn't mean that they're better than you, but that's what they're going to say. And then the same thing goes on my end. If I shoot somebody or I go like 40-0, does that really mean that I'm a good player? Or does it just mean that I may have had the best connection? You know, I may be playing up against a bunch of scrubs who just started the game. So there's all these factors that go into it from a competitive side that even if I do good in a game, I don't really feel like I've done that great. There's really no sense of accomplishment ever when I play multiplayer because there's too many factors that go into it that determine the experience that are beyond my control. But in a single player campaign, everything is in my control. Now there's glitches and stuff that happen in the game, but what I'm doing in that game, I'm in complete control of when it comes to the enemy AI and things of that nature. I'd rather team up with people, and I think this is what he was getting at when he wrote this. I'd rather team up with people and take down something together and work as a, you know, a squad or a unit or whatever the game wants to call you, than run around, you know, solo by myself trying to kill 12 people on the other side of the, you know, the enemy team, or 24 people or whatever. To me, the co-op is a way better experience, at least in my opinion. But yeah, I think we're good, man. Look, single player is going to keep happening, multiplayer is going to keep happening, but I think this generation, it's going to be all about that co-op experience, and we'll see. Time will tell, you know, which direction that the gaming industry goes. But when you look at games like Evolve, you know what I mean? That's got that. I mean, it's not true co-op because there is one enemy, but you've got what, 3 or 4 people sticking together trying to take down one enemy. So that's a different, unique feel, but it's still got that co-op mentality in it. That's the forefront, but it's also got that multiplayer spirit too. So I think that's where we're going for the future in this generation. So thanks again for the question, GC12038, and for your long time support. I'll see you guys right back here tomorrow.